Hanging out with BJ Barham of American Aquarium here at MusicFest in Steamboat. Hey, there's Jason Eady. Hi, Jason Eady. How are you, buddy? Hey, buddy. He's like, leave me.
This is trouble.
He goes, leave me alone. Leave me alone. You've been to Steamboat once or twice, huh?
This is number 10. This is my 10th time up the mountain, which is, I still remember my first one very clearly, and it was 13, I think, was my first one. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where the time went. I don't feel like it's been 10 years, but they reminded me at check-in that it's my 10th year. So
you like a pen or a gold watch?
I think they give you something, like a little piece of wood that says, thanks for making the treacherous trip up this mountain for 10 straight years. Hang on the wall, show I survived it.
Glad you didn't die. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for not dying. Here's a piece of wood for the wall.
So I want to talk about, if you don't mind, we were talking about at breakfast this morning. You've made a New Year's resolution, and a complete change on your social media.
Yeah, I got tired of chasing something, I started social media trying to connect with people, trying to communicate with people that actually like my music. And in the last couple of years, it just feels like I'm chasing this thing that is I never catch it.
Right, and there's that giant negativity factor all over the place.
No matter
what you do.
I could say, man, this Coca-Cola was delicious this morning, and somebody's like, screw you, I like Pepsi. And I just got tired of you're constantly told you have to put out music and content and videos, and then if you want people to see them, you got to pay for it. And I got kind of tired of chasing that. I realized I was spending 3 or 4 hours a day trying to create stuff for people that I didn't even know if it would get to them. And that 3 or 4 hours could be better spent hanging out, being a dad, being a husband, being anything but a content creator. Right. You know, I didn't get into songwriting to make videos of me lip syncing in a forest to a song I wrote 3 years ago. Like, that's not why I started writing songs.
I don't know, but I'd pay good money to see that. I
think some people would. I think some people would too. But it's just not who I am as a songwriter.
Slow motion dancing, a lot of silks.
Yeah, nobody wants to see me doing the latest TikTok trend dance.
Not at all. Not at all. So you're doing things a little different to get your content out to people.
Yeah. We started a Patreon. I've had the Patreon created for like 4 or 5 years now. I just didn't know how I wanted to use it because I didn't want it just to be like, hey, support my art. Yeah. But I finally figured out a way to connect with people and make videos and show them never before seen demos. We're really lucky. We've recorded every show we've played the last 5 years, like multi-track board feeds. And so what I've been doing is just releasing a couple of those every week for people that take the time to come to my page, subscribe to that page. And I'm seeing such a uptick in my demeanor. Oh yeah. Because the amount of work I put into it there's a direct correlation between what I'm putting into it and what I'm getting out of it. I'm seeing the people comment, engage on it, enjoy it. They're there because they want to be there. They're not there because the algorithm showed them something they disagree with. So they're just like,
you're not forcing it on.
Exactly. And it's so much better for my mental health. Instead of me just getting on the internet yelling at, for all I know, robots on the internet.
I'm not going to lie. We enjoyed that for a little while.
It was fun for a minute.
But it runs its course.
During COVID, when I had nothing to do during the day, and I could spend 2 hours just like dragging people on the internet, that was fun. But now that I'm back to it and I'm writing songs, and I've got a lot bigger fish to fry than yelling at some dude for an hour on the internet. And don't get me wrong. Occasionally somebody, messes around and finds out, and that's fun.
Messes around? Is that how that goes?
We're on the radio. I don't know what I can say. This is G-rated. I've gotten a lot better in my. I used to let the F words fly, but now I've gotten a lot better. Being a dad does that to you,
Yeah, you don't need that repeated to you.
Yeah, I don't need it repeated.
So how's the family?
They're good, man. My daughter's 6, and she's just a firecracker.
First grade.
Yeah. And she's 6 going on 30.
Oh yeah, knows everything now.
She knows everything. Yeah. Dad's an idiot. Dad's got a cool job. She thinks my job's cool, but she doesn't think I know anything about the world, so. It's fun because I get to take her around, and she's seen so much of this country already. She's been to 42 states already. Wow. And she's seen more of this world than I think some adults will ever see of it. So if I keep doing that, I think I'm on the right track. But she's a fun one, man. She keeps me on my toes.
That's awesome. So what's going on with American Aquarium now?
We just put out a new record this past July. So 5 months ago, we had a new record called The Fear of Standing Still that came out. Really fortunate, critically acclaimed, one of the best-selling records we've ever put out. Really great radio stations played the songs. Shout out to the Ranch. Yeah. And but it's you know how it is. You put out a record, and you got about a month of people calling it the new record. And then after a month, we were like, so when are you going to record something new?
When's your next album?
When's the next record coming out? And you're like, do you know how long it takes to make one of these things? But that being said, I'm almost done writing the next record. We'll be back in this. Yeah.
Golly.
I've got, we've been a band for 19 years now. We have 18 records. So I get.
So you need 2 in 1 year.
Yeah.
Right?
One of these days I'll do that. But I'm pretty good about writing, 10 songs every year and putting them out for people. And so we go back in the studio in the fall of this year with Shooter Jennings again and make another record. It'll be our 3rd record with Shooter. And just onward, upward. Sometimes it feels like you're doing the same thing, but you look up from the drawing board and you realize that the crowds have gotten bigger. The touring's got a little bit easier. There's a little bit more money in your bank account, and you're appreciative of the journey.
Right.
20 years in, sometimes instead of so many people want to look up the ladder and say how much farther I have to go to get to that point, but I don't think enough people spend enough time looking down the ladder and telling yourself how far you came up it. Absolutely. And that's what last year was a lot of that kind of self-introspection of looking back down the ladder and saying, you know what, if it gets bigger, great, but if it all ends now, look what I've done. Yeah. When you're standing on the stage, we headlined the Ryman last year. We played Red Rocks last year. When you're doing stuff like that, it's really hard to want more. Yeah. You have to be appreciative of what this life has given you. And so 2024 was really kind of counting your blessings. And 2025, if it goes up, great. But if it stays the same, there's worse things to do than sing songs for a living.
Been a lot of growth in you, BJ.
Oh, man. I used to be a bitter, jaded human in my 20s, but I've again, shout out to my kid. She put a lot of stuff in perspective for me, and I think for the better. Yeah. I think I became a much better person to hang around with once I had her in my life. So,
well, the songwriting has gotten really, really good.
Thanks. I try. The goal is every year that passes, you get a little bit better at it, just like any craft, whether it's building houses or building cabinets. Songwriting's the same thing. You wake up every day, you put pen to pad, and you hope that today was better than yesterday, tomorrow's better than today. And, I would hope 20 years in, I'm writing some decent songs. Right. If not, I picked the wrong.
We all would.
I picked the wrong career. If it was getting just worse every record.
Maybe this next album. You never know.
Who knows? Maybe I can let people down. Truly let people down on this next record.
Did you find any Duke's Mayo here?
I haven't seen any Duke's Mayo up on the mountain. I don't know if they make it up this far, but it is making a national push. Like I see it. I saw it on the West Coast.
I feel like you've got stock.
I don't have stock, but if I ever need T-shirts or a pair of socks, I can always call them and they'll mail them to me. So I've got all the apparel, the mayonnaise apparel.
Well, you're wearing the hat. Right?
Yeah. So when they don't pay me, but when it comes to mayonnaise ephemera, I have all of it. So.
If there's ever a guy that needed an intervention, it would be you for this mayonnaise obsession.
It's like, wow, you really have a lot of Duke's mayonnaise shirts. And I was like, it's a problem. It's a problem. But I like what I like. And, I figure there's worse vices to have than a favorite kind of mayonnaise.
We've all been through that.
We've all been through those.
So you're basically the headliner here at MusicFest. You got the last set in the big Grand Ballroom.
Last set at the Grand Ballroom. It's always we love playing the Grand Ballroom. It's just it's one of my favorite. Everybody pines after the big tent, I think, and we've done the big tent quite a few times. But for me, nothing beats the atmosphere of the Grand Ballroom. When you pack 1,000 kids in that tiny little room and let a rock and roll band do its job. That's the special for me. That's the special room here at MusicFest, and we've never got to close it out. Usually, Mr. Bowen is the one closing it out. So we're thankful this year to have that 10:30 spot on the last night of Steamboat to send people home buzzing. Hopefully,
right, absolutely. BJ Barham of American Aquarium, thank you, buddy, for chatting with us, man. It's always a pleasure.
Always. Thank y'all.